Hello friends, and welcome back to my crafty space. My name is Crystal, and in today's video, I'm going to be working on my last 3 spreads using the Laugh Story Kit from Ali Edwards. This is for my monthly StoryKitCrush challenge, which is to pull out a story kit and do my best to crush the entire kit throughout the course of a month. So today I have 3 different stories in 3 different sizes. The first is a story about my grandmother, and it's going to be 2 side-by-side 6x12 pages. The second is going to be a story that will go into my daughter's story album. This one is 6x8. And the last one is one about my husband and I, and that one's going to be a 12x12. So I'm going to go ahead and put you on fast forward while I get all 3 of these layouts completed. And then when we are done, I will slow down in order to finish out the video and do a reading of the journaling. So let's go ahead and dive into these layouts. When this kit was first released, this was the layout, the story that I was most excited to tell. And to be working on this layout today, I am so excited to share these stories with you. So this layout is all about my grandmother, and the photo that you see there is a photo of her and me from when I was a toddler. That was a photo that I found in a scrapbook that my mom had made for me, and all I did was take a photo of the photo with my iPhone, and then I threw it into Photoshop, did a couple of edits, and blew it up to a 6x12 size. So it does have a little bit of a grainy texture to it if you look really close. But honestly, it doesn't really bother me that much because it is an older photo. And for me, just having a giant blown up photo of my grandma and me means the absolute world to me. So my grandma, in order to understand the purpose of this story, my grandma was somebody who was very prim and proper, very prudish, did not find potty humor very funny, even though everybody else in her family did. Somebody to whom appearances and saying things in a polished way. She also had a great reverence for words and writing and all of that. Somebody who I definitely feel some kinship with in regards to all of that. That was her personality. So when she would say things that, when taken out of context, were ridiculous and funny, of course, our family, to this day, those are some of our favorite memories of her, because it was just an absolute riot to tease her about the things that she used to say. So what I did for this layout is I compiled a list of some of our favorite things, some of our favorite stories that we've told throughout the years about her. And I put them into speech bubbles that include both the things that she said, the reactions to the things that she said, and the true context behind the things that she said. And you guys, I just love this story so much. So my grandma here, actually, you guys have, if you've been around for any length of time, especially during December daily time, you have heard plenty of stories about my grandma before. She passed away very young. She was only 65 and caught the swine flu and didn't make it, which was devastating for our family because we were incredibly close to her. She was kind of the matriarch of our family, so it was a devastating loss. But there are certain things in life, it's now been, 11 or 12 years since she's passed. There are a lot of things, a lot of memories, a lot of moments in our lives that she just feels very present with us. And for me, the time of the year when that is most obvious is Christmas time, because she was a fellow lover of Christmas time. So to tell the story today, what I did is I took all of those journaling cards that had these speech bubbles in them, and I printed my journaling directly onto the speech bubbles and then fussy cut them out of the card. I did that for, I believe there were 3 of them. And then I also typed up some journaling on one of the speech bubble die cuts. And then I also used the digital form of the speech bubble outline stamp set from Allie Edwards to do one more additional speech bubble that just has a black outline around it. One of the things I will mention that I will mention again later when I actually go to read my journaling is that I have a pretty major typo on this layout, and I probably need to reprint one of the speech bubbles in order to swap it out, because it doesn't really change the context of the story per se. It just makes my uncle and my brother look like a jerk. So one of the stories that I typed out, I forgot what the word was. It's a story about my uncle and my brother saying a word that was upsetting to my grandma, and then her threatening them with a punishment, a very funny punishment, if she were to hear them say that word again. The word that they were saying that was upsetting for her is the word sucks. And I had forgotten that was the word, and I had written shut up was what she was upset about, which is arguably way more upsetting than sucks. But I typed shut up originally, and then I remembered before I printed it, and I adjusted that so that it said sucks, but I actually forgot to change it on the second, like there's another sentence where they used it, and so it sounds like they're telling my grandma to shut up, which is not what happened. So I just need to reprint that and fix it. But on here and in the images, it's going to say shut up instead of sucks. So just FYI on that. So I did go ahead and fussy cut that all out. I adhered it down onto the 6x8 piece of textured white cardstock. And then for the title, all I did was I attached the laugh plastic piece using my Tim Holtz tiny attacher, and then I stuck down the quotation mark chipboard pieces around that. And then I also included one stamp set that says "You Make Me," which is from the story stamp. There is a stamp sentiment that says "You make me laugh and it's the best gift." All I did was I cut off the top portion, which is totally fine. It does not destroy the stamps. You can put them back together and use it as it was. And so then I could just use the phrase "you make me," so then my title says "You make me laugh." And then I also added some embellishing to the photo as well. So moving on to my second story here. For this one, I wanted to tell the story about things that make my daughter laugh. So what are things that right now she finds funny? Because our humor changes, or even if our sense of humor doesn't change, some of these stories that we remember the best do change, or we don't remember them in the same way, or we might even forget them altogether. So what I did is I sat down one day and I just wrote down a list of all of the things that Izzy finds funny. Things like bodily functions or sounds, bodily function sounds she finds really funny. Tickle fights. You know, she loves tickle fights right now, and obviously that will probably change when she becomes an adult someday. It probably will change. She loves to smack my butt and my husband's butt, which is like, it makes us sound so ridiculous. But so just different things like that. And I thought that it would be fun to capture those things right now about her right now. So I pulled out one of my favorite pictures that I have of her actually laughing. And I blew that up to a 6x8 outside of the page protector size, or it might be a page protector size. I can't remember if it's an outside or an inside, but basically it's either a 6x8 or it's a 6.875 by 8.25. And then on the opposite side, I have typed out a bunch of sections of journaling that just talk about the things that she finds funny and maybe a little bit of context about the things that she finds funny. I used some of my older circle cardstock stickers. I believe those were from Studio Calico. I don't even know what kit or collection or any of that. I know they're Studio Calico. I used those as my bullet points. So I have alternating rainbows and like a half pattern. And then on the pieces that have they're like half colored and half white, I took the emoji chipboard stickers and I put those inside of the circles just to add a little bit more dimension, and then also as a fun way to use those little tiny pieces. Then I'm going to create a title piece using the second piece of this laugh card, and you're going to see the first piece of it. So I cut this card in half essentially. Half of it I'm using here and half of it I'm going to use on the last story that I will tell. So I fussy cut the word laugh, and I'm just going to toss the ing because I don't need it. So I fussy cut laugh out, leaving a little bit of that green outline. And then I originally was going to use the colorful side of this page or this paper as my title builder, but then I ended up really liking the blue grid because it goes so well with Izzy's outfit. It has kind of like a bluish, purplish look to it, which, gosh, just like so serendipitous that worked out so well with the color scheme, because it certainly wasn't what I intended at first. So then I'm going to adhere down the word laugh on top of that grid. And here's the nice thing also about using a grid paper is it helped me to line things up so that they're straight, because all I had to do was make sure that all of the words touched, the top of one of those grid pieces. Once I have that done, this spread is done and ready to go. It looks like it was, in fact, a 6x8 photo, so it will go inside of a full page protector. And then that one is done. So then for this last one, I printed a photo of Aaron and I at our wedding. This is one of my favorite photos of us. I actually have this photo blown up like really big and framed, and we keep it in our bedroom because it's just, it emanates the life or the, I don't know, the personality of our marriage, right? That's kind of what it shows me, is that our life is one that is defined by laughter and joy. And that's what this photo makes me feel. So I printed this photo as a 12 by 12 because, it's got to be big because it's an amazing photo. And then at the bottom of it, you can see the second half of the laughing card. So for that one, all I did was I added my text into the bubble part there, and then I trimmed out around the journaling section and adhered that to the bottom of the page. Then I took the wood veneer piece that says the best, and I layered that on top of that journaling piece so that it just, because this photo is the best. And then in my journaling, I just talk about our life of laughing and how, I love this picture, and pretty much what I already said, that this is how our life together is kind of, at least, defined and part of who we are as a couple, and that, what a blessing it is that we get to do life together. So for my cluster there at the top, I've got one of the Starburst cork pieces that says laughing with you is the best, because, obviously. And then I layered on top of that a chipboard banner piece, and I did add a little bit of foam adhesive to the edge of it so that it can be on a level plane, since the cork piece is already going to create some elevation for the right side of that. And that one also says laughing is the best thing, I think is what it says. So laughing is the best thing, laughing with you is the best. And then I'm also going to add those little asterisks as well. All right, friends, that finishes my last 3 spreads for today's video. So we've got the story about my daughter and the things that make her laugh, the story about my grandma and the funny things that she used to say, and then the story of Aaron and I and our life of laughing together. I hope that you have enjoyed seeing these spreads come together in addition to all of the other layouts that we've done throughout this month. If you did enjoy today's video, I would love a thumbs up down below. And make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, so you can catch all of my future crafty content. Next month, we will be continuing on our journey with this StoryKitCrush challenge, and we're going to be working with the StoryKit or the ampersand that was just released this month. If you would like to see a sneak peek or an exclusive early access to the story planning or the first process video, those are both available over on my Patreon, which you can find in the description box down below, the link to that member site. So if you click on the link, it'll take you over there and you can learn more about what Patreon is all about. So today I'm going to finish up our video by reading all of the last stories journaling for you. If that's not your thing, then I'll catch you later. For those of you who do want to hear the journaling, let's go ahead and get into that part. So let's start with this one because it is the least amount of journaling. So this one from our wedding, I just added my journaling down below here. It says, Erin, there is nothing better than these moments we spend laughing together. Through the tough times, daily stressors, and times of feeling disconnected, laughing together always brings us closer. I love how our sense of humor is so much the same. We totally get each other. I love that while we both have a more serious side most of the time, that we both find laughing together easy. I'm so thankful for the jokes, the silly moments, and the times we've laughed until we've cried in our lives so far, and I look forward to a lifetime more of laughing with you. Okay, next let's do Isabella's story. So this one just says, laugh. Isabella, you are definitely a little girl who is a bit more on the serious side. I guess you take after your mama. However, there are some things that are always bound to get you laughing. Bodily functions are at the top of that list. You find any sound that comes out of a place other than our mouths downright hilarious. Growing up in a family that had a lot of potty humor, I also find it hilarious, and we often get into giggling fits over these silly sounds together. Tickling fights are another sure way to get you cackling. You usually bring them upon yourself by teasing your daddy or I. Once you've gotten our attention, the grand chase begins. You run away from us almost in a terrified way, and then as we get closer and closer, you can't help but burst into laughter. And when we finally get you, the squealing and intensely loud laughing begins. It's simply the best. You also get a big kick out of a good round of butt smacking. We avoided using spanking as a form of punishment in our household and instead treated butt smacking as a way to play and be silly. Well, that definitely had its effect as well, since now you and your brother are both obsessed with spanking butts and laughing your own butts off about it. Luckily, you just stick to our immediate family members. Otherwise, I'm sure I'd have a lot of explaining to do. I love watching you play with other kids and seeing the social butterfly come out in you. You are definitely much more of a people person than I am. The best part, though, is hearing your laughter ring from across the play yard. You are always coming up with new games to play that get you all running and laughing. Your laughing is infectious. I love to suggest that you make funny faces. It seems to me that it is impossible for you to be grumpy when you are making a funny face. That, and I love how the silly laughter that spills out of you reaches right up into your eyes as well. Seriously, girl, you are radiant when you laugh. Okay, so that's Izzy's. And then the last story here is about my grandma. So in each of these speech bubbles, I have a little bit of the things that she said along with a little bit of context. So I hope I don't have to explain it, but if I do, then we'll see. Okay, while driving in the car with my mom and Uncle David, Graham, which is what we call my grandma, Graham, your father has been making a lot of donations in my love bank lately. Uncle David, oh really? Graham then proceeds to tell them about a wooden box they created at church for spouses to add love notes into. Mom and Uncle David roll with laughter. Graham, you all just have your minds in the gutter. After listening to Kenton and Tommy say sucks one too many times, Graham from the bottom of the stairs, if I hear you say sucks one more time, I will make you drink 1,000 Slurpees. Tommy whispers to Kenton, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling a little parched. Tommy and Kenton together scream, shut up. So, just silliness. After Grandpa goes to bed without a word, Graham, can you believe that? No good night or I love you or kiss my butt. He just went to bed without saying anything. Aunt Judy, about an hour later, well, everybody, kiss my butt. While driving in the car with my mom and Uncle David and Grandpa, Graham says, let's go to that Big Dick's place. Mom says, what? Graham then proceeds to explain that she meant Dick's Sporting Goods. Talking to some friends at church about a trip that she and Grandpa were about to leave on, Graham, we are looking forward to our trip to Puerto Vallarta. Friend, to where? Graham, oh, I meant Puerto Vallarta. Yes, my grandma used to say the most ridiculous things without meaning to, and it just made us all roll with laughter because she was a very like prudish woman, so it just was super funny. So funny. Anyway, I love having that because it just makes me giggle even to just remember them. All right, friends, well, that is it for this week. I hope that you enjoyed hearing the stories and maybe those sparked some ideas for you and how you can use the Laugh Story Kit to tell the stories of your life. All right, well, I am going to be back again next week with a couple of videos, and then on Friday, you will see my new story planning and process video with the and or ampersand story kit. So I definitely look forward to seeing you back here then. Until then, I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend, and I will catch you all in next week's videos. Bye, friends.